Okay, welcome to Fearless Friday. My name's David Gonzalez. I am a broadcaster for Social Good. With me today on Fearless Fridays is Madalyn Sklar, and she is a Twitter powerhouse. She's been featured in 2017 as one of the 50 female entrepreneurs that you must follow. She is an amazing woman, and Madeline, thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here. I really like what you're doing, David. It's very cool.
Thank you. So we're going to just go ahead and dive deep. Fearless Fridays is about igniting your thoughts into actions to realize your dreams. And social media has become such a big component of that. Um, yeah, I'd love to get your take on it.
Yeah, with social media.
Yes, specifically Twitter.
With Twitter,
How
yeah.
has Twitter changed to become a part of that process?
Well, Twitter is just such an amazing platform. I've been using it since 2008, and I feel that out of all the social networks out there, you just cannot beat the relationships you can build through using Twitter. Like, I'll get on other social platforms, and of course I can connect with people, but not in the same way that you can on Twitter. I could get on Twitter right now and go find 10 people to have a that's not easy to achieve on other platforms. So I just love that there's so many like-minded people out there. There's Twitter chats you could go connect with people on, and chat with people with events through the hashtags. It's just endless. I just love that about it. It's just endless with what you can do with meeting people.
Yeah, I am a Twitter just beyond the novice level. I've been on Twitter long enough to kind of get around. I use lists, but I am by no means a guru. Um, so I'm always finding new fun things about Twitter to, um, explore. So before going into social media, you were into web design, right?
Yes. I was one of the first web designers in Houston, where I live, back when
Oh
it was
yeah,
a new thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
Back
it was
when it was
before
all
most people,
HTML.
before most people had even heard of a.com. I was doing like HTML. There were no programs, no WYSIWYG programs yet. It was strictly Notepad. Like, you had to be able to type HTML code off the top of your head in Notepad. That was when it was cool.
Yeah, I actually built some websites manually typing in HTML code, and that
So
was a lot of fun.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty
nowadays
cool.
it's like people, you know, I think sometimes younger people don't appreciate what the pioneers of the World Wide Web had to go through. Because yeah,
Right.
the websites may have been simple, but if you had to code that thing, you had to keep it, easily to, download because we were all on dial up.
Those were the days, right?
Oh
Gotta
yeah,
love dial-up.
yes. It's funny, sometimes I'll just go back and rekindle the memories, just look at the old browsers and go, oh
Yeah,
man, I remember when things were like this.
it
When
was very
Amazon
simple
only
back
sold books.
then. Right. Yeah, it's like I remember back when Amazon only sold books. That was quite some time ago.
Yeah, I think they did that up till 98, and then they started to
Yeah.
expand.
Yeah. It seemed like that was when the internet really started shifting, back in around 98 and late 90s, when things really started shifting, things started evolving. People were not as scared of doing credit card transactions. Remember how people were scared to do a credit card
Oh yeah.
online because it was that big unknown. Like, I don't trust what happens by putting my credit card through the internet. It's like, well, I feel safer doing that than going to a restaurant and handing my credit card to a waiter who's going in the back and who knows what they're doing with my credit card, you know?
Oh yeah.
So that's what I used to tell people. I used to say, back in the early days of internet online shopping, that it really was okay to do, and I knew it was going to be huge. I really, when Amazon came out, I was like, man, this is just the start of seeing online shopping becoming really, really big.
Yeah. And everyone thought Jeff Bezos was crazy when he said we're gonna have
They sure
everything.
did.
And
They
I
sure
just
did.
remember, everyone just literally freaking out over it. And
I
yeah,
remember. Yeah.
we see how that's gone.
Yes, I know. I love that. I love that. That's so
Amazon's
cool.
my day
Amazon
job.
is amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. I love Amazon. I think just they provide so much opportunity, It's
Hmm.
amazing.
Oh, believe me, I know. I work with those robots every day. Uh,
That's cool.
yeah, so it's really nice when I get to connect with people who remember the good old days of the web because we get a real perspective of what opportunities are still out there on the web
Right.
and in life. So, how do you make the transition from web designer to social media, Twitter coach, and marketing
Yeah,
strategist?
I've done a lot of stuff. It's really interesting looking back. I've been doing what I've been doing for over 20 years. And I started off as a web designer. And when I started off doing that in 1996, I also started a web page. I wanted to start a place where musicians could come together, specifically female musicians, because I grew up playing guitar. And at the time, I was still into it, never professionally, but I saw in 1995 and 1996, I saw the power of the internet, and I just knew it would be a great way to connect people together. So I was basically starting a social network without even realizing that's what it was. And so I started a web page just to bring musicians together. So here I was doing web design, and I did that for 11 years, starting in 1996. At the same time, I started this music community, and over the years, it just kept growing and growing. It was a passion project. So it was something I was doing for free. It was never a moneymaker, but it allowed me to become this leader in the music business and get seen as this community builder and this woman who brings other musicians together. And as the internet evolved, it allowed me to find new ways of bringing people together. So before we had social media, the big thing was Yahoo groups. Yahoo groups became this
Yeah,
way where we could build these communities. And, I mean, old school was bulletin boards, right? On the internet, we had the bulletin boards, and you post something and other people can see it and respond. And then the Yahoo groups came out because websites were static back then, right?
yep,
Like you could email me and I could email you, but there was no interactivity yet. There was no social media as we know it today. So Yahoo groups really changed the landscape. And that was back in like 1998, 1999. And that allowed me to really grow my music community. And I also became known as this internet marketing specialist. Like, I was teaching people how to use the internet to market for the musicians. I was teaching people how to market their band and how to use the internet, how to do things online. And then social media really started becoming big with MySpace. MySpace was really our first entry into social media. We all
yeah,
learn. For most people, it was just for fun, right? Like everybody
hmm,
set up their little page for fun. But for those of us in the music business, this became an incredible way to
get,
build fan
yeah, build
bases
your
and
fan
build
base.
communities. Yeah. And I helped so many bands go out and go on tour utilizing MySpace to connect with people and make it so they could go on tour, where they had fans all around the country because of their MySpace page, and growing their mailing list using their MySpace page and selling their music from it. It was really interesting. And that really set us all up for social media today with Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and YouTube, because we learned with MySpace, we learned some really valuable lessons with MySpace. We learned that you can't always rely on these sites to be there for you. With MySpace, we thought this is never going to go away. We're going to have this forever. I mean, remember at the height of
Oh yeah,
MySpace, it's like Facebook
everyone
today.
had it.
Everybody had it. You didn't think it was going to go away. Just like today, if you said today, oh, Facebook will be gone in 6 months, we would all laugh, right? We say Facebook isn't going anywhere, but that's what happened with MySpace. So we learned a valuable lesson, not to put all of our eggs in one basket. You started having bands because it really was built for musicians. I mean, it was like the perfect musician platform for community building. And what a lot of bands started doing was ditching their .com website and just having their MySpace be their website, which was not a good idea. I'm a believer in everybody should have a .com for any type of business you have or anything it is that you do, because you own it. It's not going anywhere. The other thing we learned with MySpace is that we built up all these friends and fans and people that we connected with, but we didn't have anything to show for it. We don't have an email address collected from every one of these people, right? So when MySpace went away, we're starting at zero with Facebook, and we're starting at zero with Twitter. Like, we had to start all over. So we learned a lot of valuable lessons. So I'm always preaching the importance of having your own website, having a mailing list that you build up, that you have as your own, because those two things you will always control. Nobody can take those away from you, because Facebook could go away. It's doubtful at this point, but you never know, right?
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah, the whole having your site and having your list that transcends the platform, because I agree, platforms come and go. I was wearing a shirt the other day, Meavy came and went, Meerkat came and went, and so if you don't get that information to something that's gonna be able to transcend those platforms, you're doomed to repeat starting from zero every single time. So, Madalyn, what drives you with Twitter marketing strategy? I mean, what makes you say, okay, I wake up and I want to help someone do their marketing on Twitter?
It's the people. Like, people on Twitter are just amazing. It's just back to what I was saying before with connections. I get on Twitter, and the connections you make on there are so great. They're so valuable. I get most of my business because of what I do on Twitter, just connecting, showing other people how to do that, how to achieve success with using Twitter, because it is such a great platform. But it's the people. People are just so amazing there. Facebook is for friends, right? We get on Facebook to chat with our friends and family. We get on LinkedIn to make some business connections, but it's hard to do that because even though it's a public platform, people still, to me, it still seems very private. People can be very private on their LinkedIn and not necessarily let you connect with them there. Whereas Twitter, you could be, the president, you could be Jeff Bezos. If you are on there using it, you are accessible. That means I, Madalyn Sklar, could tweet you and you might respond back. One of my colleagues tweeted Jack Dorsey at Twitter, I think it was yesterday, and he put at Jack and he asked a question. Jack Dorsey responded immediately. That's crazy. Like, the president of Twitter, the VP of the main guy at Twitter responded. You just don't get that anywhere else.
Yeah, it's amazing when I get responses from various musicians, because I'm also into music. I support Peter Hollins and his wife. I'm a huge Lindsey Sterling fan, and so it's funny because I'll get a notification in the middle of the night, and it's Lindsey Sterling responding to something. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's always such a thrill.
It really is. It is amazing because I have never seen that anywhere else. I've talked to rock stars, Gary Vaynerchuk, who's one of the top leading social media thought leaders of our time with over 1 million followers.
He's
And,
an amazing guy.
he
He
really
really
is. And
is.
to be able to reach out and get his attention, it's amazing. So that I just don't see that anywhere else. I mean, I would dare to say anybody that says they just don't believe it, go show me a platform where you could do the same thing, where you could send a message to Gary Vaynerchuk and he responds, or Jack Dorsey from Twitter. Like to get that kind of response is unbelievable.
Yeah. I was sick last week with a cold, so I'm still a little congested. So I do apologize if I'm a little hard to understand tonight. It's been a long week.
You're good. It's all good. Hey, it's Friday. Excellent to be here.
Thank you.
On Friday, hanging out with you, doing this show. And thanks for inviting me, too.
No problem. I had the great fortune to find Christy Gillentine on Snapchat, and we've become friends over the past few months, and she started telling me, literally raving about you to me. Like, oh, Madalyn's so awesome. She helped me with Chat Snap. Yeah, Chat Snap.
I know. It's like you have to remember Snapchat backwards. That's what I have to say to myself. Like, turn around. It's kind of fun. Like, you have to try.
Christy, can you have chosen a worse title?
It's pretty clever, though.
It is. It really is.
She started it when she, I told her, like, I was the one that said to her, Christy, you should start a Twitter chat for Snapchat, because she's always showing me how to use Snapchat. Earlier this year, I mean, I got on Snapchat years ago when it came out, right? I mean, as a social media marketer, I get on all of these when they're brand new, and I play with it. I figure it out. Played with Snapchat for a while, but that was back when it was very different, right? Like, you took a picture and it disappeared. It was a very, I can understand why the teenagers liked it. I try to look at it from the standpoint of, how can this help me and my customers, my clients, business people? How can it help all of us with business? And I just didn't see a good way of using it. But then when they came out when they changed it up and allowed stories, which was about a year and a half ago?
Yeah, about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, totally changed the landscape, right? So now everybody's using it, and I wanted to learn how to better use it. And I was really struggling, and I'm a techie. I don't struggle, but I struggled. So Christy,
I feel so much better now.
Hey, all this swiping this way and that is hard. So every time I would see her, there's a social media breakfast we both go to every month, and every time I'd like take her aside. It's like, I don't want anybody to know. I said, Christy, I'm just not understanding Snapchat. How is it that you have these weird things on your face? I didn't know how to do that earlier this year. Like, she's like, I'll show you, Madalyn. You hold get your face, hold it down, tap on it, and the thing pops up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I would have never figured that out on my own. So every month I would take her aside and I say, show me something new, and I was like, wow, she's so smart. She knows everything about Snapchat. So I said, because I'm really big with Twitter chats. I said, you should start a Twitter chat that's all about Snapchat. There's nobody doing it. You know everything about Snapchat. It'd be a great way to get your name out there so more people know how smart you are. And she decided to go for it. And when she was about to launch it, she said, I'm going to call it Chat Snap. And I was like, that's actually kind of cool. It's backwards, Snapchat backwards, Chat Snap. I always have to think about it when I say it out loud, but I think it's actually pretty smart, because you wouldn't want your hashtag to be Snapchat, because that's, everybody uses
everyone,
so
and their mother
you want to be
it.
unique. Yeah. But look at how great she's done. Oh my gosh. The chat's been like 9 months, and it's huge.
And she's going strong. Yeah.
She's doing really well. I'm so proud of her. And she's had all these big name people on. She had Joel Calm on last week.
Yeah, I saw that.
Chocolate Johnny was this week. And I'm so proud. And then next week, Chris Straub, he's going to be on her chat. And then the next day, he's going to be on my Twitter Smarter chat. So I'm really excited about that.
And Chris Strubb and I are talking about having him on the show, either next
Nice.
week or the week after. We're just trying to finalize the date.
He's a
And
great guy.
he is, he really is. And he's done some amazing things with the 100 Days, 100 States. Um,
Yes.
that was an amazing experience for him and for everyone that participated, and me got to watch from my couch. Um, it was really cool. I even made a few new friends on Snapchat through that because
Nice.
I just learned from the what they were about and said, okay, I'm following you now.
That's great.
So my audience, are people that are trying to get from point A to point Z. They're not quite sure how to get started. So, what would you want to tell them?
Okay. So for Twitter
Yeah.
with getting started. Yeah, Twitter I think intimidates a lot of people because they look at it and they're not sure if they're new to it, they're not really sure how to start, what to do. I always say first thing is let's start with your basics, and you want to make sure you have a great looking profile first and foremost, because so many times we sign up for these different social media sites and we don't put a lot of thought into it, and then we start using it and then wonder why nobody's paying attention. And what I've always noticed with Twitter is that you've got to have a great bio, a great profile picture, and a great cover picture. Because when you're on Twitter and somebody tweets you, like when you first tweeted me, the first thing I'm going to go do is I'm going to go look at your profile and I want to see, well, who is this David and why should I pay attention to him? I'm going to look at your profile and I'm going to look at your bio and I'm going to see like what do you say about yourself and what's compelling, what's going to draw me in. And you have a really good Twitter profile, I have to say.
Oh, thank you.
It's really good. I love how yours starts off, it says live streamer for social good. I think that is such a powerful first sentence to a bio. You are immediately telling people so much about you with one sentence. I love it. And then you talk about, host of the Fearless Fridays and Social Good Saturdays. You talk about yourself. You talk about being a part-time photographer, full-time Amazonian. I love that. And lover of positivity. I think you have one of the best Twitter bios that I come across. It is, so well written. And then you got a good profile picture that is a headshot. You're smiling, you're looking at the camera. I think that is so important. People try to sometimes get too artsy about it, or it's a photo that's from so far away, you can't make out the person, right?
Or so long ago.
Well, I always say have a good headshot, have something on there so that people could recognize you if they
Hmm.
saw you in person, right? So back in the MySpace days, when I was promoting my music community, since I was the face, initially I did the logo, but because I was the face of the community and it was a community, not so much as a business, I decided to put my picture on there, and everybody got to know me and associate me with the organization. So, and it was just a good headshot up close. You could see my face. When I started traveling around to music conferences, people like, as soon as I would get there, people would stop me and go, "Hey, you're Madalyn. We're MySpace friends." Like if I swear, if I had $1 for every time somebody said that to me, I would be so rich, because it was the height of the MySpace days, but people recognize me from my profile picture. And I think that's so important. So I'm always stressing that on your Twitter bio and really all your social media, you should have a really good profile picture. So yours is really good, David. I really like it. You're smiling, you make people feel invited in, so I think
Yes.
that's really good. And the other good thing you're doing that everybody, can learn from is your cover image. That's the big one at the top. And I like how you got Fearless Fridays, igniting thoughts into actions. The way you have that design is very well done too. So people are going to look at that. When you tweet them, they're going to be more concerned initially when they're wanting to know who you are. They're going to be more concerned with your bio and your picture. They're going to want to know, who is this person? And once they see, oh, this person seems really cool, then they're going to really pay attention to your tweets and what you have to say. So that's the first thing, is go work on your profile, make it awesome, make it compelling, and then start tweeting like crazy and get attention and talk to people. So many times people get on Twitter and all they do is promote, just do this, do that, buy this, buy that. Instead, listen to what people are talking about. Go find the like-minded people. They're out there on Twitter chats. They're out there through friends of friends. Like, we both know Christy, and we've come to meet through Christy, which is awesome. And so now I'm seeing you and paying more attention on Twitter to what you're tweeting and stuff. And that's such a great way to connect with people, is just get out there and go meet people and go talk to your friends and your friends of friends.
Yeah, engagement with the people that you network with on Twitter is so important, and that's with any platform. Don't just be a fly on the wall. Be a part of it, be a part of the conversation. But I actually want to segue momentarily because in my title it says I have a big announcement, and this is kind of the perfect time. Um, in April of next year in Jersey City, New Jersey, there is a conference called CreatorCon.live. And I have accepted and been asked to speak at that conference. And what I will be speaking about is empowering your audience through live stream technology. And so for me, empowering the audience means going just beyond that point of engagement to where you are creating an opportunity for action for your audience. And if you want to hear the whole spiel, come to the conference next April. I promise I'll have it all written out.
That is so exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you. You know, I've always been kind of the worst thing that could happen. And this is something that I learned as a music student. My teacher would say, well, the worst thing that could happen is you mess up.
Yeah.
And, so for this opportunity, the worst thing that could happen, they just say no. So I asked, they asked me back. So I am going to New Jersey. And what's really awesome is I get to, the hotel where it's at is literally across the Hudson from Freedom Tower. And so the fact that I am going to get to wake up and that tower be one of the first things I see in my day, I'm so looking forward to that. And getting to tour the memorial at Ground Zero. I was 19 when September 11th happened. And, it's one of those events in your life, especially when you're young, it really sticks with you. And so it's kind of been a bucket list thing to go there. And this is an amazing opportunity. Sorry. Forgot to breathe. I was so excited I forgot to breathe.
That's going to be so cool, though. That's really awesome. And you shared something that's so incredibly valuable, especially when you're talking about, what lessons, that I can share in helping people get from point A to point B and to point Z, is just going for things and trying stuff, because what is the worst thing that will happen? That's what I'm always telling people. It's like, you went for it because, the worst thing that would have happened is they said no. Okay, big deal. Go try another one, and I think so many times people get held back by fear. And I just would like to see more people stop being held back and just going for it. I have a tattoo that says, just do it. I live by this. I really do. It's funny because I say it so much when I'm talking to people, and always saying, just go for it, just do it. So I decided,
and Nike hasn't emailed you?
Not yet.
Not yet?
I'm
Okay.
wondering.
I
I'm still
won't
a
tell
little
them.
nervous. Like they might want a royalty check for that or something.
Yeah, hold 2 bits.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, fear is definitely something that a lot of people, um, it keeps them from going towards their dreams. Another thing is just
Definitely.
not knowing information. Um,
Right.
Ignorance is not bliss when you're trying to reach your dreams. Ignorance is very scary.
Yep.
So I want to kind of promote you a little bit, Madalyn. So if you look in the background of her screen, you see this hashtag Twitter Smarter, and it is actually a full course that you can purchase. And basically, she's going to teach you how to be fearless and smarter on Twitter. And I was looking at it on her website, looked like a really good thing, and it's very affordably priced. For what you're getting, it's definitely a deal. And my grandmother's a Scot. We look for those kinds of deals. So, I definitely, if Twitter is something that you've been looking at exploring, I highly recommend it. Breathe, Dave. I
Thanks for the
really
kind
gotta work
words,
on
though.
that.
I really appreciate it.
No
I
problem.
appreciate the kind words.
Well, it's funny. A lot of people keep saying, "Oh, you're so kind," because I do try to spread positivity around, but I don't do it dishonestly. I'm not gonna, say something great when it's not. But I will try to find the silver lining. So if I say something good, I'm just being honest. You know, and there's some people, they're going through hard times right now, and I say, you know what? Even your darkest day only has 24 hours.
Right.
You know, that's the good thing. Because after 24
That's a
hours,
great point.
you know, because a lot of people, especially when they are facing a major obstacle and trying to face their dream or live their dream, they have a really bad day. It happens to all of us. You know, there's no smooth curve to go up. It's you're always gonna have something go on, and so on those dark days where you think all's lost, just remember, 24 hours, then you're done with that day, and let's go forward.
Very wise words.
Sorry, I've been practicing speaking today, and I actually used to be considering going into pastoral studies, so the inner reverend comes out sometimes.
Yeah. I like it.
So, let's see. I'm going to check. I offered people to send in questions via our official hashtag, Fearless Fridays Live.
And that's a great hashtag, by the way. I really like that a lot. It's very good.
Thank you. And it doesn't look like we have any. If anyone's on Periscope who has questions, now is the time to ask. We have a few people.
I'm happy to answer questions about Twitter and social media and entrepreneurship. I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. It's just hard to believe that I have worked for myself and done my own thing through the internet. I mean, mind you, I've been an internet entrepreneur for 20 years. I don't know how many people can say that. Like
Jeff Bezos
100%.
can.
Yeah, well, Jeff, yeah, that's true. But like 100% of my business in the last 20 years have been because of the internet. It's really
Wow.
awesome.
Okay, well, we're not seeing too many questions. So I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Madalyn. It's really been a pleasure. Hello, Kale. And yeah, thank you so much. Hang tight real quick. And thank you everyone for coming to Fearless Fridays.